Projects in computer. Smaller ones got me on the side of the phone.
Well, good. How are you? Good.
Yeah.
Sun's shining, it's warming up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's sad when it's like.
I've got 9 o'clock, if everybody could join us for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's almost blown me out this point.
I know, right? But
A little windy, but.
we're excited about it not to be so chilly.
Yeah.
Dawn's having some technical difficulties.
Yes.
You had a chance to look at the agenda, if I could have a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the minutes of December 8th, 2025, regular meeting. Motion.
Looks like we get, maybe a discrepancy there. Maybe we need a chance to revise those minutes for December 8th. Specifically, the agenda item for rescind, to set the moratorium. It doesn't look like it's worded the same. Looks like it's, looking at 42 minutes into the meeting last week, identifies a moratorium on present and future battery systems, data storage systems, and data mining.
It did say present and future.
Yeah. I don't think it does in the minutes, so maybe we need a chance to revise that.
What do you want added in, like what sentence or, oh, you don't have the minutes in front of
Yeah,
you?
if you don't. Motion by Vogel to proceed with the information gathering process to possibly approving a moratorium, but instead at 42 minutes last week into the meeting, we actually did approve a moratorium.
No, you didn't approve a moratorium for because we don't have one put together yet. I was under the impression that it was to proceed with the information gathering process to then present the moratorium before the board.
Yeah.
Because we didn't actually have a moratorium. That's why I put possibly approving a moratorium.
Yeah,
And I specifically asked the board if it was okay if I proceed with reviewing the moratorium and having the county attorney draft something up. So, yeah, we're just we still have to have something drafted, and I reached out to the other counties. As I told you I would, and sent that information up to the county attorney, so.
yeah, at 42 minutes, it says establish a moratorium. Enact and moratorium, so I'm not sure that this reflects what actually happened last week.
I believe it probably does.
Oh, it's up to the board, whatever you would like to do.
Fine with it as is, but up to you guys.
I'm fine with the dozens too.
Think there's a motion?
Haven't seen one.
I thought she motioned.
No, I didn't make a motion.
Okay, my mistake.
Nobody made a motion to change it. There was,
I'll make the motion to change it
Change.
to reflect that there was a moratorium established last week.
you
We
didn't
didn't
feel it.
establish a moratorium.
You didn't establish a moratorium.
We went into, she's doing fact finding on it
And,
and having a county attorney draft language for a moratorium.
right,
How we can say that.
We need a chance to look at the video.
I'm not gonna take.
Well, I don't hear a second then.
So do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 8th, 2025 regular meeting as presented.
Yes. You have that motion.
Bill have to second it.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Nay.
Roll call, Curtis, aye.
Cleveland,
Vogel, aye.
nay.
So basically, you're saying that you would, because I want to clarify that you would like the wording added to the minutes that the board passed a moratorium?
That's the way I hear it in the video.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next, approve employee claims filed with the county auditor for $1,158.67.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the claims filed with the county auditor for $222,066.77.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve the monthly for the Pulse Trust report, and so we're at 2,800,
28. Yeah.
or 28 million, or 2.8 million.
There you go.
Million.
You get it right.
I'll make the motion for approve the monthly employee health trust report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Board and commission updates, we've got
Well, that's-
look up them here.
They were in the folder here. I did print out a copy of what we could have so far. So it is to approve Buchanan County Fair Association, Corey Wilson, he is the supervisor's representative. That is a yearly appointment. Conservation Board, there's two for a 5-year term, Mary Blaisdell and Alex Hoffman. Board of Health, 2 3-year terms, Dr. Rick McCormick and Rhonda Jasper. Buchanan County Certified Local Government Commission, Leanne Harrison, I have received her application. You are in need of 2 more to that commission. Magistrate Commission, there's 4 of them that expire. They need to be contacted. One could probably confirm today. And those are Brad Bleitner, Stephanie Saylor, Tyler Rasmussen, and Matt Maynard
I can
are both up for reappointment. Or all up for reappointment, I'm sorry,
get Matt who?
Maybe.
Maynard.
Okay.
Pioneer Cemetery Commission, there was 3 terms expiring. I received an application from Tony Bingston for a 3-year. I need 2 more. Board of Review, Catherine Cole will continue to serve. Zoning Commission, Wendy Spearsluggy will continue to serve. Airport Board of Adjustment, Pete Gomer, a 4-year term will continue. Airport Zoning, we need 1. And Board of Adjustments, Deb Ehlers and Barb Ehlers are both willing to serve again. And then also the, I don't know if he's not a district judge, but he's from district courts. They need the new 26 appointments for the Compensation Commission, which is if there's anything ever come up for eminent domain. We have that list. It's been here. I don't know.
Provide that to them, don't we?
Yeah, I'm assuming everybody's still on board. I don't know. I'm not reaching out to all of these folks.
Provide
That's a
that
word.
list.
So that's what I have so far. Like I said, the magistrate, we need finalized. And then we need 2 more for the certified local government, Pioneer, and then 1 for the airport zoning.
Brad's here. You want to re-up for the magistrate commission? Okay, we can talk about it later.
No, I'm fine doing it. I just, they only meet once a year and unless you're changing magistrates, it's really a kind of a performing action, but sure, I'm happy to continue to do it.
Thank you.
Hey, Don, great.
Just, we got a lot of these filled simply through phone calls that I made, but you have to reach out to these people, and a lot of times if you talk to the other members, they can also recommend people that they may know that might be interested in serving.
Right.
And it's just a matter of reaching out to them. I was pretty pleased with the number of responses I got, but, we've got several more to reach out to.
So Stephanie Saylor, Matt Maynard, and whom else on that, on the
Tyler Rasmussen.
Tyler Rasmussen? I know all three of those people. I would be more than happy to reach out to them.
Thank you. So then somebody needs to, take lead on the certified local government, Pioneer. And get those, but as of now, you can approve the list that's presented if you would prefer. There's a copy of the list in your packet.
Are you on certified
I'll
list?
make
Go ahead.
the motion to approve the list as presented.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
are you on certified local government? Is that what yours? I can reach out, for certified local government and Pioneer Cemetery.
Thank you.
There is some current members on there, and I think it's just the
I think we just need
checking
reach
to
out.
see if they are willing to continue to serve.
This one.
Check both on that too. isn't it? For now.
You is ringing a bell? I can get you the list. Yeah, it could be.
Always want that after be. Okay, next approved tax abatement for the city of Independence.
That was all in your packet. There's been, it looks like the city's taking over a property and it's a court order. Not much we can do about it, but approve it.
I'll make the motion that we approve the tax abatements for the city of Independence.
I would like to hear a little bit of explanation about.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
The address is 204 3rd Street Northeast. So close to
Right up in
right
there,
there.
over there.
It's got a long history of reaching out and
It's the dilapidated one.
I think Gina provided the dollar amount of what the abatement will be.
Yeah, it'd be $1,348. It like I say, it's court order. So it's pretty much a done deal. I would entertain a motion to approve.
I made the motion.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Items for discussion or approval, place on file, following manure management plans. AEA Fork LLP, number 3, Aurora site, Buffalo Township, section 25.
Make the motion to place the following manure management plan on file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, substance abuse, or substance use prevention coalition award. That's a mouthful, but that's.
Loved it. It's nice. I'm just gonna read the press release since that is what explains what the award is and why we are receiving it. So the Substance Use Prevention Coalition of Buchanan County has been named a new member of the Girard Circle, a distinguished donor group recognized by the Unity Point Allen Foundation for supporting high-quality, compassionate healthcare throughout Northeast Iowa. SUPC's membership follows the Buchanan County Board of Supervisors approval of a funding request to support the Allen Child Protection Center submitted on behalf of the Opioid Settlement Funds Advisory Group. The advisory group voted unanimously to recommend the allocation as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen community-based services for children and families impacted by substance use. Unity Point Health Allen Foundation partners with donors like SUPC to ensure access to high quality healthcare for patients, families who rely on the compassion and expertise of Unity Point Health Waterloo, which is a non-for-profit organization. Support from SUPC helps uphold a standard of excellence in care, innovation, and comfort that would not be possible without generous donations. The Gerard Circle honors the work of longtime Allen physician and philanthropist, Dr. Russell S. Gerard. Membership in Gerard Circle symbolizes a lifelong commitment to high quality care in East Iowa. And there is a plaque, inside one of the entrances of the Allen, I'm not sure which one, that has the Substance Use Prevention Coalition's name on it. So the opioid settlement funds takes requests for funding, and so the Allen Child Protective Services covers Buchanan County, and so they submitted a request for funding. And because we honored that request, now we're part of this donor recognition.
Very good.
Yeah, we'll find a place at Public Health to display it. When she said medallion, I thought she meant like a medal. And so now I'm not quite sure. I thought we could like put it on the wall somewhere. I'm not quite sure. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I know.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Scott. Scott, you're gonna be in it too.
Yes, you are.
You wanna?
Take the picture for you.
Oh,
No.
we have a professional here. The picture.
It's 50,000 qualified to take this photo on.
No, I think it'd be better back here.
I think that'd be better back there. What are you doing?
I'm hiding.
Come on, this is your one free pass. You know, you.
This is them.
Yeah, squish together. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, do a silly one. That was a joke.
Serious.
Well, thank you, Griffin.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the opioid settlement funds,
Mhm.
it's very restrictive on what we can use those funds for. So this was a good qualifying initiative that I think will really pay off.
Mhm.
But we're always looking for good uses for it. So this is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Yep. And I just wanted to say thank you. This award is not obviously just for me, but I think it's really nice for employees to be recognized. So thank you for inviting me to come and present this. So thank you.
Okay, next, Luke, Iowa State University, is that extension that he's with
Yes.
regarding the BESS workshop?
And he is on. Good morning,
Hello.
Luke.
Good morning. Can you folks hear me okay?
Can you guys hear me in the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Luke, would you mind talking about what you got in mind for this BESS workshop?
Certainly. So the workshop that we're hoping to provide to Buchanan County is part of a larger project that we've got going on at Iowa State University Extension and Outreach right now called the RSTEP program, which stands for Reliable Energy Siting Through Technical Engagement and Planning. The project that we've got funded through the U.S. Department of Energy with an overall goal of improving stakeholder outcomes related to siting, permitting, and planning large-scale or utility-scale wind, solar, and battery energy storage systems. One of the elements of that project is developing and delivering educational workshops to communities across the state, focused on kind of any combination of those topics that I just listed, siting, permitting, planning, batteries, wind, solar, kind of customizable. So based on conversations that we've had and kind of what we've done thus far with other workshops, we felt that a BESS workshop would include material including, but not necessarily limited to, fundamentals of battery energy storage systems, sort of the technology, the role that these systems play on the electric grid right now, and the role that utilities and developers kind of envision BESS playing in the future. Land use considerations for BESS facilities, including safety, neighbor impacts, health impacts, the powers and duties of local officials, i.e. county supervisors, planning and zoning commissions, boards of adjustment, as they pertain to the regulation of BESS. And kind of in a nutshell, that's broadly what we were considering covering, given the fact that we had thought about like a 2-hour timeline for the presentation itself, and just recognizing that it can kind of get into the weeds pretty quickly.
So, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
And the workshop was only for like planning and so for the officials.
So initially we envisioned the workshop as, and we've done most of the workshops kind of aimed at a target audience of local officials, given that some of the material is like, this is what local officials can do to regulate these, or these are things that local officials should consider or may want to consider. That being said, the venue that we have picked out, the Heartland Acres Agribition Center, does have a pretty large maximum capacity. So we'd be open to opening the workshop up to members of the public that are interested in learning more as well.
So if you have all three supervisors together in one room and it's not open to the public, isn't that slightly on the illegal side of life?
To the best of my understanding of, oh, go ahead.
It becomes a meeting, doesn't it?
If there's
It's not
so
to the,
in terms of it becoming a meeting, I think I guess let me preface this with saying I'm not an attorney, so please don't consider this to be legal advice. But in extension, we do offer trainings on the fundamentals of open meetings, open records law in Iowa, and I've delivered that training a number of times. And per my understanding of Chapter 22 of Iowa State Code, as long as decisions are not made, if it is a session where there are is fact finding done, where there's information presented, as long as decisions aren't made and deliberation does not happen. That's my understanding of kind of when something crosses the threshold from being a gathering to being a meeting subject to open meetings law.
It's the proverbial locked door conversation that might make that into a perceived meeting, and so that's why you typically have it in public. These other meetings that you've had, or these other presentations that you've had in the past, have you done this before with this particular topic? Have you done it in other communities? Have they been open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've done a handful of these. First one was in Floyd County 7 months ago, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe all 3 members of the Floyd County Board of Supervisors were present, as were members of the public. We gave this presentation to members of the Mid-Iowa, I'm not going to remember the acronym, MIDAS, the Council of Governments that serves sort of the Fort Dodge area. And we've also given a similar presentation in Dubuque County. The MIDAS workshop was put on by MIDAS, and we were sort of guest speakers, and they only extended invitations to supervisors and then members of planning commissions and boards of adjustment in their service territory, whereas the Dubuque County workshop was open to members of the public as well.
Yeah, if you're talking about this much lithium in a community, it seems best to open it up to the public.
okay, so I want to follow up on something you had said previously.
Sure.
So when you're only presenting information and there's no deliberation, even if it was presented by email, that would be okay, correct? Because there is no deliberation and it's only information.
I believe so, and I've got Iowa code. Excuse me, I misquoted earlier. It's chapter 21, not 22. My bad. Per the definition of meeting, gathering in person or via electronic means, formal or informal, of majority of the members of a governmental body where there is deliberation or action upon any matter within their scope. So as far as I am aware, as long as decisions are not made and deliberation does not happen, then it doesn't rise to being a meeting.
There's a notification on
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check that because we have. I would hate to have this be reported to anybody as.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the other line I'll quote is that meetings shall not include gatherings of members for purely ministerial or social purposes, where there is no discussion of policy or no intent to avoid the purposes of this chapter. Chapter 21.
I'm gonna be a little devil's advocate here, but there will be policy discussions about proposed policies and strategies that could be interpreted as maybe deliberations as we're talking about some of this. Although we're making any decisions, but there would be quite a bit of conversation back and forth, I'm assuming, especially if you have members of the public there asking questions.
An agenda can be posted as a work session, or an agenda can be posted like I do when we go to ISAC, the dates and that it's a training conference, just so the public's made aware that, yes, folks will be there.
And if we want to publish notice of a closed session to deliberate possible legal strategy or anything of the sort, then it would be something.
I don't think there'd be any closed session involved in this meeting.
There would be no, I don't think.
I would think it would be treated exactly like you folks treated the wind turbine work sessions. Let's post the agenda as a work session, if all three of you plan on going, that's what I would suggest.
Even if two of us are there, it has to be.
So when I called you the other day and we had a conversation after I found out that this was potentially gonna happen, and only one supervisor knew about it, and it was for the elected officials. And planning and zoning. We had discussed, that this would be closed to the public. And that's typically how you do these.
Yeah, that's news to me during this meeting.
Excuse me. And to me, that's telling me, and that there's different ones that will be available to the public. Different work sessions or educational opportunities available to the public. I guess in my mind, it's like saying that the public can't handle the information you're going to present, or that there's two different types of information presented. My public here in Buchanan counties are pretty smart. And they understand what I understand. So I am very uncomfortable meeting behind closed doors on any type of a work session or educational. It doesn't sit well with me. And they want to be educated too. They're the public. They have a right to be educated about what's going to go on in their county.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. And yeah, as I stated, I'm, since that conversation, I'm, definitely willing to consider, as I stated, opening up the workshop to the public. It sounds like that's what most folks would like to have happen. And given your legitimate concerns about open meetings, open records law, I don't see any issue with that. And again, space is more than large enough. And I guess to address one of your comments about different types of information, I'd just like to stress that the idea there is that we were hoping to, we tailor the emphasis of the workshop to the audience that's in front of us, to ensure that the material is of greatest interest to the audience and sort of provides as much information as possible, given the limitations that we have on how much time we can be talking in front of a group of people, right? Not to say that we're, yeah. So the sort of the focusing on maybe the policy levers or some of the areas, again, like I mentioned, how BESS can operate on the grid right now versus what utilities and developers are envisioning in the future, things like that, or focusing more so on things like the NFPA 855, the National Fire Protection Agency's new set of rules and regulations around the installation of these types of facilities, right? So that's what I mean when I say different, different audiences might be interested more so. Like, for instance, if we were talking to a room of first responders, emergency management professionals, we'd probably focus more on that element of it than the roles that a zoning administrator could play in BESS siting.
Is there anything you need from us on this, Luke?
Right at this very instant, I don't believe so. I mean, if you tell me no, Buchanan County Board of Supervisors is not currently interested in this workshop, or we want to reschedule it for a later date so we can have further conversations about this and kind of work out some of the kinks, more than happy to do that. Yeah, you guys are the bosses. We're just here to, try to provide as much information as possible to help inform decision making. That's the whole point of the project. So whatever we can do to achieve that goal to the best of our abilities, we'd love to do.
And this is John Kurtz. I just got a couple of comments, and I appreciate the offer to open it to the public, because I would like to have this in front of them so that they have a better knowledge. Right now, there's a lot of questions out there.
Sure.
This whole concept just kind of sprung up out of the blue that took a lot of people by surprise. And I don't want it to become the drama that we went through in the wind turbine controversy, and to some degree the solar, but wind was huge. And I would like to get the information out sooner than having it come at a later time. And what's the date that we have selected for this?
It was Tuesday, January 27th, 6 to 8 p.m.
There will be a link, right? Run to Zoom in. I'm asking in case of bad weather or bad roads.
A virtual participation option.
Absolutely.
I believe so. The other thing we could think through, which I don't think we've thought through yet, is also having a backup date in case of bad weather. Something a week or 2 weeks later, something along those lines. And I would just want to make sure that if that's the case, that we make sure that we, follow the proper posting and noticing procedures for doing that.
Yes,
I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into it, but we look at it from our perspective is there's two different ways that you have these type of meetings. One is a work session where public's allowed to attend, but they're not participating in it. They're just listening to the conversation and the information that's being provided. And then the second is a public hearing, obviously, where the public comes and expresses their information about it. The whole idea with a work session from the city's perspective, when we have the work sessions, is we're trying to get the council members to be educated on the subject matter itself. And we want them to speak freely. And sometimes people in authority don't speak freely when there's a crowd out there that's maybe boisterous on a particular way of thinking about something. So this is not a decision-making process. This, from the way we look at it, a work session is an informational gathering process. And the best way to get information is to be able to freely talk about it. But of course, the public should be involved in being able to attend and hear that information. It's just if they're interrupting and they're posing questions, it has a tendency to get off track. So that's just, I'm just giving you my perspective on it.
I kind of welcome the additional questions. I mean, especially like in this case as well, the more questions you folks ask, the better I think we make government. So
Yeah, it was gonna be so not transparent until we got involved, until I got involved. At any rate, I totally understand what you're saying, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate that thought because we do need to get to gather some information.
If I can also add, so these educational workshops are one part of this project. And in terms of like public outreach and education, another element that sounds to me like it might be of interest to this audience or to folks in Buchanan County is, in addition to the educational workshops, we're also offering something pretty similar called a community-driven conversation around either wind, solar, or battery. So in this case, battery energy storage systems. That's a little bit more of a longer-term process, and it's very much meant to activate public engagement in a really meaningful way. So that would probably take a little bit more lead time and could be independent of or in conjunction with an educational workshop. Basically, the process for that is assessing the status of the technology in your community right now, what the existing policy environment looks like, defining a purpose for the conversation, putting together a local advisory group, creating an agenda, getting a date, venue, duration set up, doing some marketing and outreach, holding the meeting, and then our staff would write up a report for the community that summarizes the meeting's presentation or presentations. There would probably be a process where folks could write their questions down. We would collect all the questions that folks have, and then in the report there would be answers to as many of those questions as it's possible for us to answer, right? Using the best available information and science that we can tap into at Iowa State. So that's something that I piloted in Kossuth County about 1.5 years ago around solar development in particular. It's something that is informed by a sort of a multi-state project that extension agents from New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Indiana participated in as well as some support from and research done by scientists at some national labs. So Lawrence Berkeley Lab, the lab formerly known as National Renewable Energy Lab, now the National Lab of the Rockies, Pacific Northwest National Lab as well.
Luke,
so that's kind of, oh, go ahead.
Please.
I was just going to say that like there's educational material baked into that process as well, but it's more so meant to be a means of community collecting information and opinions and concerns from as large a portion of their population as possible.
You have similar topics. You have similar topics for BESS, data mining, data storage. Is that something those communities?
We don't really have much on data mining or data storage or data centers necessarily. Unfortunately, the grant that we got only covers the development of material on wind, solar, and battery energy storage. Yeah, so we don't have the funding available to develop resources on the other ones. Yeah, as much as we would like to. That might be a thing. I would love to be able to put that together in the future, and that's definitely an area of great concern for land use planners across the state. That's kind of the hot topic. So we're hoping to be able to provide some value there too.
Circling back to the January 27th, what is the cost of the county for this?
It is free of charge to the county. Funding is provided through the Department of Energy. Same with the community conversations. Yeah, everything affiliated with this project for now is offered free of charge. We'll see once this July 2027 rolls around and our funding runs out, but cross that bridge when we get to it.
Thank you.
I do have one question. So if battery energy storage system was cited in Buchanan County, what does the county get out of it?
Can you get out of it? It's a good question.
With wind. But
Sorry,
with,
say again. You could.
but
In terms of tax revenue.
in terms of money into the coffers.
Mhm. I don't know offhand the answer to that question, unfortunately. That's something that we're looking into. I'm in conversations with county auditors about that to get a sense for how those systems are taxed. And I know that with the state legislature looking seriously at significant property tax reform in the upcoming legislative session, I would be cautious about giving you a definitive answer right now, because my answer now might look kind of different in a few months' time.
So it's essentially, it's all tied back to property taxes. So it is what you're saying. Because Delaware County, they have one and there's absolutely, they don't get anything off of it.
Mm.
Except for a lot of
And that-
complaints.
Let Amber chime in if she's got any. Amber's our planning and zoning director. Amber, any questions?
Yeah, I guess this is really new for Buchanan County. The Planning and Zoning Commission members received a wide variety of ordinances and information pertaining to BESS at our December meeting. And I feel having a meeting the end of January is not going to allow the Planning and Zoning Commission enough time to come up with an overabundance of questions so that they can better put together an ordinance to protect Buchanan County and the farmland and stuff as well. So I guess that's my only concern, is that it's a little close. We're approaching the time frame. I'm not opposed to having any information, because again, everybody needs to be aware of it, including the public. They attended the meeting when the New Leaf Energy presented, and the amount of questions and concerns that they had was very, very overwhelming and alarming. So those I do feel need to be addressed as well, and the planning and zoning need time to digest the information and we put something together.
I'll also add yet another element of this project is we're offering like one-on-one technical assistance for communities that are in the process of writing or revising ordinances or comprehensive plans when those revisions or updates have to do with wind, solar, and batteries. And Amber, if you'd like, I can send you. We have a little intake form. We recently helped Story County update their BESS ordinance not too long ago as well. So we've been doing that, and we're actively engaged with a couple other counties, helping them with drafting or revisions to code language there too. So.
Rumor has it Lynn County just revised their BESS ordinances as well, so that may be something to consider, the latest and greatest versions there.
Mm-hmm.
Any other
And
questions?
also, I'll also add that the technical assistance also available free of charge. So.
We do have a few members of the public here. Anybody in the audience that has a question or comment?
I just think the public needs to be involved. You know, the secrecy of the wind turbine thing, people are not trusting it from that experience. And it needs to be upfront and what's going on. And of course, you know, the wind energy thing, a lot of people in the county didn't know what was going on until it got, you know, it'd already been discussed and people were
Signing leases
2 years before we got involved. And that doesn't have you trust people very, very well. So we need to slow down here a little bit and get Buchanan County, as Amber has said, get the organization, get that. And then I think a meeting would be better later, once the P&Z and the people know what's going on.
Thank you for reiterating what me and Luke had talked about. I told him the story.
Good.
Anyone else out there? Any more questions for Luke?
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you,
Certainly.
appreciate your time.
Mhm.
And we'll look forward,
Anything else you need from me?
I don't believe so. We'll look forward to the January 27th.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, meet with county.
Just for clarification, please, so this training will take place January 27th.
It's at 8 p.m.
At Heartland Acres.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a meeting conflict, but whatever.
So, I just, for transparency, I feel the board should take action on that and make a decision on, are you going to classify this as a work session or how you're gonna handle it? Because then that, it also will involve me, or unless you're just wanting me to post it as a training session like we do when going to ISAC. The difference would be if there was, if it was as a work session, then I would have to be there. It would need to be the recording and that process also.
In my notes, I wrote down here suggesting that we do it as a work session / educational workshop. Kind of cover our bases on it. What's the thought of the board on that?
I mean, we can't take any action on it, so, I mean, the entire point of this is to gather information. So the more questions we ask, the better.
So basically what I was asking, if I would like, especially if we're going back to that resolution in July, if this is something that the board is going to attend and be part of, I feel that it's a necessity to have in the minutes that you approved this. And then as far as me having to be involved, I want clarification on how you're going to do it.
It will be I think it was originally labeled to me as a work session. That's what Luke had discussed, was a work session. So if you need to be in attendance for work sessions, Kristen, by all means, please.
Yes, I have to.
Or
I
can,
would entertain a motion that we approve the January 27th work session / educational workshop from 6 to 8 p.m. at Heartland Acres.
Second. Or I'll make the motion.
Yes, I am.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Get everything in order for that?
Thank you, Chris. Next, meet with Conservation Director Ben Bonar regarding capital projects.
Morning, Ben.
Good morning.
How are we today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you all? Peachy. It's good.
See you building now.
We'll talk about it potentially
Maybe
here.
we got their 5-year plan because we're in year 6 of us.
I'm getting
we're
more points here.
Fixing projects and we're only in year 3.
So the board and I is working on finalizing our FY27 budget, and thought it'd be good to come in and talk to you about capital improvement project that we've been discussing since midway through the year here. When our master plan was created, part of that plan called for a new maintenance and storage facility. So I think on the front page of your packet, it shows kind of the overlay of that. Where the proposed shop is designated to go is kind of in the center here, somewhat adjacent to where our current main shop is located. And I've been working with Alex Davis throughout the year to come up with a design for the building, which I've got included in your packet as well. The field staff and I went around this past winter and looked at a few different building designs to see like what would fit our needs the best. And what we decided to go with was kind of a pull-through style building because we thought it kind of maximized the amount of space we could use within the building and seemed to kind of fit our needs the best. That does kind of differ a little bit from the original plan that was put into the master plan. And then Alex also put together a proposed budget for the project, which fortunately, when they first did the master plan, the building estimate was somewhere around $2 million. And we were able to get that down to about a quarter of what their original estimate would potentially be. So obviously that's a fair amount of money to try to absorb in a budget in a year. So I've been trying to strategize around how we can potentially make the project happen. Unfortunately, with a building like that, there's not a lot of grant funding out there to fund something of the, that type of a project. So I looked into a few different options. I mean, again, one would be to balloon the budget for a year to accommodate the expense, which I don't think is probably going to be feasible. The second option that I looked into that we are able to do is potentially get a loan for the project. So I stopped out at Maynard Savings Bank and just talked to them about what some potential options would be. And they do offer low interest loans to governments. They had a 5, 7, and a 10-year term that we could potentially look at. So I took those to my board at the last meeting and we discussed it. The 5-year payment on the building is probably outside of what we're going to be capable of doing out of our budget. So that one they thought wouldn't work the best. The 10-year loan for the building, I think is probably pushing it a little far out. The expense of that would be slightly less where we'd, not be so strapped on our current budget. But the 7-year one seemed to kind of hit the sweet spot between the two where I've got enough money in my budget that I can kind of scrape from other lines to make that potential payment. So it was something I wanted to come in and discuss with you guys in advance before we got into budget hearings, just to see if you have any feedback on it or any comments about the building or anything like that.
So what's the interest rate?
They said at the maximum it would be around 4%, but she said that most likely it would be quite a bit less than that, just depending upon where the interest rates were at the time. She anticipated that it'd probably be more in the mid to low 3s potentially. So.
And is there any penalty for paying it back sooner? So if you got the 10-year loan with the lower payment and then set your budget to pay it back sooner, would that almost be a better option? That way, if you needed wiggle room, you have a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, and we could definitely look at that too. And she said there wasn't any penalty for paying it off sooner, which was another thing that we're contemplating. So I've been talking with the treasurer about potentially using putting some of our reserve funding into iPay so that we could generate interest off of that money. And then we talked about using that money to pay the building down faster so that it wasn't going to take so long to pay it off.
The 10-year interest rate, especially to your point, was it a lower interest rate or?
She said it would be the same regardless. Okay. Last I talked to her, but I could try to narrow that down by like our budget hearing time. She should be able to give me a more, this was maybe 4 months ago that I talked to her. Sure. So she'd be able to give me a little more accurate idea of where that would be at right now.
Yeah, especially if the 10 years at a lower interest rate, that kind of makes sense to pay ahead on a.
Yeah, I can definitely check into that and have that information ready to go. So I'm hopeful that, again, I've got 2 different scenarios that differ slightly that we're going to talk about on Thursday at our board meeting. But as of right now, it looks like we should be able to accommodate the expense of the building as a part of the budget that we currently have. So
I know in the past, Conservation Board has had real good success with very generous donors that have donated funds toward Friends Group or to projects, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I wonder when you meet with the board if they would discuss the possibility of when they do construct a new building, maybe they would consider maybe naming it in honor of a benefactor or something that would be willing to offer some substantial financial support to it.
Yeah, I could definitely talk to him about it. Cause yeah, we kind of discussed that too. I think it's harder to maybe get people excited about a building, but we can try. I mean, it's,
Worth the effort.
so, yeah.
What are the offsetting costs? What are you saving by building this building?
So the need right now is that in the past, 5 years or so, we've really grown with our staff and the amount of equipment that we've added to try to take care of all of our different areas. And we've just really outgrown the space that we have. We've also stored a little bit of equipment from other departments at our place where now we're having to play musical equipment every day, moving things in and out. And we're hoping that this future proofs us for quite a while. And we're able to get some of our vehicles and other equipment that are currently being parked outside, inside now to try to decrease the amount of maintenance and wear and tear on them from being out.
Maintenance, wear and tear, personnel time,
Yeah,
couple things.
and we're, when our nature center was built, I don't think they had the amount of staff, they weren't thinking about the amount of staff that we have now in the office space we currently have in there. And that everybody's kind of crammed into right now, that this does include like a little office space and break room for the field staff where we'll move them from the nature center out into this area. And then we're also going to be able to take a lot of the supplies that we currently house in the nature center for the parks and move it out above the office area that is proposed as a loft, like store like our toilet paper and paper towels and cleaners and all that type of stuff that's currently in the nature center. So that'll be a benefit too, and then it'll free up space for the naturalists to store things in the basement that we currently don't have room for. So.
Yeah, room in there for like hazardous materials that you get frozen over the winter.
And that's the other thing that'll get moved in there is that currently a lot of our herbicide is stored in our animal care building. It's in a cabinet and that type of stuff, but I'd really like to get that out of there and into a room in the shop that's ventilated properly and everything to, be a little safer for storage and that. So.
Is it heated currently? That outdoor storage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both the animal care building and our main shop or a portion of our main shop is heated right now anyway. So
I guess I'm thinking about chemicals that would go bad if they get frozen.
Yeah, they have to stay heated especially if they're water based. Some of the oil based stuff you can store outside or in colder temperatures, but it's better to keep it at room temperature. So
yeah.
And this was in the 5-year plan.
Yeah. This was all part of again, that master plan that they put together back in 2020. And then, like I said, when we were discussing where we were going to go with projects after we completed the last 3, this is what the board thought would make the most sense for working on next. So, yeah. Yep, I've been very fortunate. So,
As a county, we've been truly blessed with Fontana and conservation there and what they've done.
Yeah.
Then in looking at this, I noticed over by the prairie, we've got a lodge showing there. Is that something in the plan or?
It's currently in the plan, but I don't think we have plans to go after that quite yet. Yeah. Just in kind of preliminary talks with them, I think our thought is that when we get done with our maintenance storage facility that we probably need to put some attention on like our animal display. And then we had a nature play area that was planned for like adjacent to the nature center that I think they were kind of interested in looking at next anyway. So
in looking at the lodge design, it looks like there's a amphitheater type seating. Is that what that is, or is that parking area, or was
from the map you're talking?
Yes, I'm looking at the map.
Yeah, be lying to you if I told you exactly what out front of it you're saying that's kind of pointing to the southeast or,
It's going north,
oh, northwest there.
yeah, northeast.
Oh, no, okay, yeah.
That's parking.
That, I think that was proposed as parking, but with the way, so some of this has changed when we started to put different projects in place. So I think they kind of deviated from that when they built the entrance road in. I don't know with the way that's currently situated, if we could accommodate that type of parking lot there, I guess. It's also shown to kind of go further into the bison prairie as well, so that would require like moving some fence and stuff if we put it in the place that it currently is. So this was kind of more of, I guess the way I'm viewing this is more of a idea map for projects that were vetted and called for, but we can kind of move them to like suit our needs and whatnot when we get into planning for the projects. So
I kind of hate to see us have to tear out our new paving we just put in.
yeah, no, I have no desire to do that, so.
Okay.
But yeah, that part there would be along that gravel road that comes in off of Fontana Boulevard and then kind of comes around the west, or I guess, yeah, this map's kind of situated differently, but along the north side of the Bison Prairie, so.
So what are you needing from us, or is?
It was just more of an informational thing for you guys today, or if you have any feedback, I just thought it'd be good to talk to you about it before the budget hearing, so that wasn't the first time that you were seeing it anyway, so.
I know even before Dan retired, that machine shed discussion had been happening, so, I think it's something you guys definitely need. I'd like to see you work on ways that you can proceed with it.
Yeah, and I think this might be it's been the best option that I've been able to come up with for moving forward with it, just because I think right now we can try to scrape from some of our other lines to make it happen, whereas in the future, without increasing a substantial amount, like that'll get kind of whittled away over time, that we might not have the option. And, you know, buildings over time have gotten more expensive as well. So I think that's going to kind of hit us on both ends. So,
Well, I think success you guys have found with the new campground expansion, next year will be a real telling year and how much more income you generate off of that too.
yeah. And we've already seen things go up pretty significantly, which I'll go over with you guys here in the next month or so too. I've got our annual report just about wrapped up, so you can see kind of how that's increased. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that, because across the state, I've kind of heard that camping's been down a little bit and ours has continued to trend up. So that's been pretty positive as well. So.
Good to hear.
So yeah, and if you have any questions later, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email or something, but.
Brandon's been in my office a couple different times discussing what our best option was for this, and I did in the past reach out to some other auditors. Last week I did speak with our audit firm on what would be best on to handle that. And Elizabeth had suggested, if it does go through and this loan is taken out, that I create a capital projects line, a revenue line, and that's where the funding will go in. And then also it'll be an expenditure lines that we'll have for when the expenses come out. So just keep in mind, if we get that into Ben's budget, when you first see his expenditure line, you're gonna be like, because that's going to increase it. However, you gotta look on the other side because that revenue's there. So just kind of keep that in mind. I mean, we've researched all different avenues. I was concerned that maybe we'd have to put it as a debt service, but Elizabeth up at Gardner said, no, we could do it as this way, as a capital project. So there's been a lot of research done beforehand.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for reaching out to Elizabeth. I appreciate it. Okay.
That would definitely help.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate all the help you've provided with kind of getting this all in order and trying to figure it out. So,
Get it?
yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Ben?
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
definitely. Thanks a lot.
That, we'll go to board and commission updates.
I can start. We had our safety meeting, last week. We had updates on 2 new employee injuries, so if you want more information, everyone should reach out specifically. We got updates on the 4 previous claims. Our mod factor is good, so the report's coming out for that. Gonna have the employee evaluations coming up this week. I guess, hopefully I'm not stealing anybody's thunder there. Intercog, the exec meeting we're having this week. We're gonna do office elections. Regional Transportation Association, we're gonna do a public hearing on the passenger transportation plan. And then a public hearing on the TIP amendment. This is for the New Hampton City Bridge. I think that's all I have.
Okay, I'll go. Courthouse security met, emergency management is updating the security policy. He's already sent out the first draft. I had 2 questions, so they're working on that. Additionally, courtroom security was discussed. The panic buttons were tested. Thank you, Sheriff, for doing that. Appreciate it. And we have a staff training coming up, and that was discussed. Buchanan County Housing, we approved a rental last week. So we'll have a new tenant. Super excited about that one. Buchanan County Tourism is working on the budget for July 25th through June of 2026, along with transitioning away from the depot as the home base. Tourism is now housed with Buchanan County Economic, or I should say the director for tourism is now housed with Buchanan County Economic Development. And the Friends of the Independence Depot will maintain the museum or the depot. District 7, we have an ad hoc design team. We're planning on a meet and greet in January.
Sorry, what's District 7?
District 7 is ECI and BDF. It's
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you. Last week was an unusually light week for me, so it's kind of nice. We did have our monthly meeting at Central Iowa Juvenile Detention. A lot of things in the works there. They did go through the bylaws and several 28E changes that have to be done before the new 28E is presented that we can again sign on. Because right now we're not listed as a executive board member, although we are getting member rates on all of our fees for the youth that are spending time in Central Iowa Juvenile Detention. They also decided to explore going to a different audit firm to audit their books because their current auditor is still over a year behind on getting them audit results. So they're exploring contracting with a firm out of Fort Dodge to come down and do that. They did have a election of, or I guess the hiring of a new executive director, Cassie Ruth, who had been the associate director and then was acting executive director, has been promoted to take over the executive director job. And she's been with them over 28 years, I think, and does a really good job. And hopefully, from everything I understand, the employees love her, and actually the challenges that they take care of over there actually like her too. So it's a good thing. And they're also looking at doing a compensation study so they could kind of attract good solid people and retain them, so. Different, initiatives that they're working toward. I always am amazed at how thick the board packet is. And I told somebody it started at 10 o'clock and was still going at 1:30, so. It's crazy. But that's pretty much all I have. We do have our courthouse is gonna close down early on Wednesday for our in-house training, so. It's for people's information. And with that, I have nothing more. Open up to public comments. Yes.
Just getting back to the BESS system, I think, and I know two of you have done this before with the wind, and kudos to you for doing that, but we must look at the big picture. You know, too often, whether it's counties, communities, schools, whatever, they do things that are new because they want to be on the front edge. And the big mistake that they make is they don't do their due diligence on what the ramifications are. And just the BESS system itself, the ramifications are health, environment, and our future land use. And we must, and I heard that time and time again from the two of you that were on the Board of Supervisors during the wind thing, is that we must protect our land and our ag use. You know, and we are an agricultural county. And, you know, and the P and Z, I also want to mention, give them kudos. They're already doing their research on BESS. At that last P and Z meeting, people have been doing their own research. And I think that's important because we got to know as much information as possible. And I know Don's done a lot of stuff, and I know you're already researching and doing those things. So again, look at the big picture. This is Buchanan County. This is not Lynn County. And in my impression, and a lot of other people's impression, Lynn County's made a lot of mistakes with the wind energy. And I know up around New Hampton, people are really upset. They weren't given the proper education, the proper information, all the turbines that have gone up in the last year. And Dawn had mentioned Delaware County with the BESS system. The county's not making a dime on that. So we got to know who we need to trust, and we have to do the research on our own, as well as on some company come in and tell us what we need to do. So, thank you. Good job. Keep it up.
Thank you. Denise, you don't get to come very often. You got anything? Thank you.
You at least get breakfast out of this?
I did not.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we had to be at Dunlap's at 8:30.
So we need a resolution on that, or?
Anything else from the public? Well, thank you, everybody. Stay warm. Sounds like we got a heat wave coming.
Yeah. It'll be almost freezing.
I can get rid of some rice.
I'll make the motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
11 o'clock is the next one.
Great.
Yeah.